It's time for a jolly old canon Christmas.
You are being very, very naughty.
Naughty this! Carpet Day!
Hello everybody, and welcome to the show. We are Just Another Movie Night. I am Scott.
And I'm Joe.
And today we are talking trash.
Talking trash for sure.
Talking trash indeed. This is the holiday edition of Talking Trash. We are doing Christmas movies, and I am bending the rules a little bit this time because I'd expected this movie to actually be a Christmas movie because it actually takes place at Christmas time, or does it?
I mean, we're led to believe it takes place at Christmas time, yes, because
One
people
part
are
of the movie's
decorating their Christmas trees.
Yeah, one part of the movie's like, yeah, this is Christmas, and the other part of the movie's like, nah, we forgot about that.
I mean, you're like really towing the line because this is not a Christmas movie by any stretch.
Yeah, I don't
It's
really
not.
understand. And the movie in question here is Invasing USA from 1985, produced by Cannon Films, the legendary company behind so many masterpieces that they went out of business.
Don't you mean crafter pieces? But we love the crafter
Yeah,
pieces.
have we done another Cannon film?
I'm sure we've done a few.
I feel like we haven't.
No, that's not possible.
I know, I would have to think about this
That's
a little
not
bit,
possible.
but yeah, this is a Chuck Norris vehicle. This is definitely the first Chuck Norris film we've done on this show.
Which is shocking because now I want to do them all.
Yeah, can we talk about him a little bit, because he's like the one action hero actor that I really never watched when I was a kid.
You're beginning to irritate me.
I could never, I don't think I ever purposely watched any of his movies. I just wasn't into it.
Loud and clear.
I guess back then I was like still doing girly things and watching girly movies and stuff like that.
Stop acting like a dadgum sissy!
But you did watch other action heroes, am I correct? You watched Stallone, and you definitely watched Arnold, because I know Commando was a big part of your childhood.
Yeah. But Chuck Norris, I never as a kid would put him in that situation as like the same as Rambo or Terminator or anything like that, because he was just a dude, Like, I don't know. It was just, he's always came off to me as an old man, even though he wasn't old.
I'm not going to fight.
Do you get it? Like, I don't know. He just kind of like
I know.
reminds me of like an old man. So it was weird.
So, if we're playing a game show today, if we're going to do a game show, and I'm going to ask you a question, the first question that needs to be asked is, how old do you think Chuck Norris was during the filming of this movie?
Oh my God.
Or at least on release. How old was he?
So this is 1985. He still has a red beard and red hair with no gray. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say maybe he's 38.
Holy shit, you really think that?
38, 39. Yeah.
You think he looks 39 in
I
the
mean, he
filming of
kind
this
of like
movie?
looks older, but he, like I said, he doesn't have the gray in his beard.
Well, he's the same age as me.
No.
And I have gray in my red beard.
You have, yes, you do.
Let's face facts, his beard is nice and dyed.
Yeah, right? It has to be.
It looks very fake.
When he left the table, didn't he say he wasn't going to fight?
I didn't fight. I gave a motivational seminar.
I actually did say it to you. Wow, his beard is very well like manscaped. It looks very nice. And you know what? You're right. It does look like it could be
It's colored.
dyed. It's
it
gotta
has
be
to be
dyed.
colored.
But yeah, I don't
So
know.
not only do we share do I share the age with him, this movie also is filmed near where we live.
Yes. Well, supposedly. I
Supposedly.
mean, there is like a lot of shots in this movie where you're like, okay,
Yeah.
there's no way that's Miami.
Absolutely not.
I mean, it's definitely multiple filming locations for sure. But I mean, I could see that some parts of it were filmed in Florida. You could tell. But other parts, like,
No way.
no.
Yeah, I don't feel it at all.
No way.
It opens up with some Florida Everglades.
Yeah.
And
so
that's
we
definitely
know-
filmed in the Everglades.
Yeah, we know that that's the Everglades. And, they have to make proper use of airboats and stuff. So,
So my next question is, how much do you think he got paid?
oh, wow. Okay, 1985 standards. I'll say he was paid, let's go with 5 million.
No, in 85? No, he got 2 million for this movie, which is huge back then.
Well, that's pretty big. I mean, considering that Marlon Brando made $4 million to appear in Superman, and he was only in it for 4 seconds.
That's true. That is Marlon Brando. No, well, I guess my big question to you really is, how much do you think this movie cost?
Okay, that's a really good question because I could tell you I have never seen so many explosions. I mean, that's
We've seen
lot.
a lot more than that.
I mean, no, there's a lot of explosions in this movie. I mean, an obscene amount.
There is some crazy shit going on.
From start to finish, there's just explosion after explosion. I'm going to say that this movie cost, I want to say at least in 1985, if he was paid, would you say 2 million?
2 million.
I'm going to say this movie cost 10 million.
You're very close, 12.
Okay.
$12 million, and apparently it cost $2 million just to shoot in the Everglades.
Crazy.
That I don't know about.
It's all swamp.
Yeah, and then the rest really went to these battle scenes, I guess. This movie is directed by Joseph Zito. You should definitely know him because he directed Friday the 13th Part 4.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, he also brought everybody with him because makeup and the effects are done by Tom Savini and Greg Nicotero again.
Are you serious?
Yeah, they're both worked on this film.
I mean, they didn't really have...
No,
No.
it's very surprising. I would love to know what was going on.
Yeah, like, they didn't have any, like, outshining, like, moments where, like, they were, like... I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
and
weird. There's not a lot of gore in this.
Joseph Zito also directed The Prowler.
Oh, I love that movie.
So you would think if you hear his pedigree is in these horror films with major special effects and gore, you would think that this movie would be like that. It couldn't be further from the truth, because I'm gonna just say it right now. This movie should have been called Missed Opportunity. Because on every single front, this movie should be excellent, but it misses the mark completely. There is hardly any gore, although people are being riddled with bullets.
Yeah, there's a lot of that, and it's a little too... a lot of that was too much for me.
I mean, it wouldn't have been. We would have been like cheering, like, holy crap, this looks amazing. We've seen movies on small budgets with better stunts.
Yeah, see, like...
This movie feels like nothing hits on the emotional level that it's supposed to be hitting on.
And it's true. Like, that's why I was like, okay, this is enough. It's too much for me. I think it just kept going on and on and on. The same scene after same scene.
Yeah.
I'm just like, all right, enough already.
Yeah, the repetition is out of fucking control in this film.
It is. It is.
Yeah, this is Talking Trash, so we usually talk out the plot of these movies and we spoiler the whole thing. We do spoilers on the whole thing because we're going to talk out the whole plot. And this is the easiest movie we've ever done to talk about.
I mean,
because there is
yeah.
hardly any plot.
Okay, first of all, hardly any plot. There's one thing to say about the plot, and it's maybe just 3 little words.
What is that?
Angry Russian man.
Yeah, I mean, the only things to talk about here are the choices. So, to get into the plot, the movie starts out setting the tone incredibly brutally. Like, this movie is very brutal, but that's why it's so shockingly dull. That it's being so brutal, but for some reason it feels disconnected from emotion. It doesn't like land. And the movie starts off with this tone, and you're thinking, holy shit, this movie's only going to get elevated from here. If you open your movie with the brutal opening, everything's got to be bigger. Mm-hmm. And it is, but nothing ever connects. So the movie starts out with a boat full of refugees trying to get to Miami.
Yeah, so they're coming over from Cuba, and there's a lot of people, and women and children and older people on this boat.
And they want you to feel the emotion because they have a little child talking about, are we close?
Are we close to America? You know, when we get there, are they going to make us go back to Cuba? Like, it just seemed like, oh, these people just want a better life.
Yeah, and they see the Coast Guard, and they get excited. And the Coast Guard comes, and you automatically see our main villain in the film. And there's no, even if the movie tries to trick you with this, you see Richard Lynch. Richard Lynch is a spooky dude.
He is.
He's a spooky guy. He is from, well, anybody who's ever watched any Next Generation, he was in Next Generation Star Trek. He was in the Ninth Configuration of Puppet Master 3, Lords of Salem, Trancers 2, Rob Zombie's Halloween, and Alligator 2. He's in some other ones like Savage Dawn and Werewolf, but I think that's enough. He's famous for having, he has like I think he was famously burned during a filming of a movie. And he has a lot of burn marks on his face.
No, that's not what happened. In 1967, he was actually on LSD and he set himself on fire.
Is that what it was?
That's what happened. Yep.
Wow, I buried the lead. Jesus.
Yeah, that's what happened. He was on LSD and he set himself on fire in Central Park. That's what he did.
If you would ever tell me that I would go into Central Park and try to burn myself to death, I would say that you were out of your mind. If you've taken your last, what you call your last LSD trip, and you really want to be hip, well, dig it, man. Be hip. Lay off it.
Yeah, so he's definitely strange cat. Like he's very weird to look at. He's just he just plays the villain really well, and he actually knew that, after he had that accident or whatever, that he was just gonna use his sinister looking features to create diabolical characters in like horror movies and stuff. And that's exactly what he did. His whole career is that. His whole career is weird, strange looking bad guys.
Yeah, and he could speak multiple languages, so he's really good at doing those villains. Mm-hmm. And here they pull up and he's dressed like the Coast Guard. And at first you see his face and he's like mad. And then he just goes into a smile and he's so like, hey, welcome to America. And everybody starts cheering on the boat. Well, we know it's Richard Lynch, and we know this is not going to be a good guy regardless. And sure as hell, he reaches in to grab one of their hands, and they're all cheering. They're going to go on this boat. And he shoots the guy right in the head. And then the entire boat of Coast Guard riddle this boat full of people. Even the children, the women, everybody's murdered.
Yep. Machine guns come out. They completely destroy everybody on this boat. And they bring out a guy that obviously has some connection. He knew that that this boat was going to try and make it to America.
Yeah, they're using it like a mule.
Yeah, like they had like their little stooge. And so they get on the boat, and underneath all the bodies is like a little latch, like a little secret hidden panel, and there's tons and tons of cocaine in there.
Yeah.
So they were smuggling in, I guess inadvertently. These people just wanted to get, their freedom and come to America for a better life. They didn't know they were sitting on, millions of dollars of cocaine.
Which is nuts, but yeah. Yeah. And riddling the boat with bullets, you would think they would be hitting the cocaine.
True.
Yeah.
True, yeah. And it was also not a very strong boat. It was, you know,
It's like a shitty boat that immigrants are trying to escape on.
yeah, and there's no sinkage happening at all
Nothing,
either.
yeah.
So they take the cocaine because that's obviously what they were there for. And so
That's okay. Their plan is bizarre.
yeah, I'm
They-
a little confused on it.
They are able to do anything they want at any time. They are able to take the Coast Guard boat, right? Then they're able to go kill a bunch of immigrants, take the drugs, go back to the dock, leave the boat, and then we find out this is really crazy because we had to keep questioning it after we saw it. But the cops come to where the boat is, and we find out that there's a reporter there. And the reporter got there before them, so we're already finding out the cops are terrible at their jobs.
Yes, they are.
And when they go look inside the boat, we see a bunch of dressed like basically in their underwear, dead bodies inside the boat.
Yeah,
We
so-
had a question like, did Richard Lynch kill his own people?
No.
And then I was like, doesn't look like anybody that was on the boat. And then it dawned on us, oh, it's the Coast Guard. They took their outfits.
Yeah, that was actual Coast Guard. So they dumped them on another boat, killed them, dumped them on another boat, and then took their boat. And so they pretended to be the Coast Guard, which honestly, it's a bit extra because they could have literally just been traveling on any boat. It didn't necessarily have to be the Coast Guard because it could have just been like, oh, we're just going to take any boat and then we're going to come across these people, trying to get to their freedom. And let me tell you, these people, if they saw any boat at that
True.
point, they
Yeah.
would have been like, oh my God,
Who are they trying to trick?
Right. Like, why does it have to
But-
be the whole elaborate plan of taking the Coast Guard's boat and killing the Coast Guard and doing all that? You could have just taken any yacht and just been like, okay, I'm going to go out there and take this cocaine.
Well, they had to stop the Coast Guard from going in that area to see them and get caught.
I suppose, but I mean, isn't anyone looking for this group of like sailors? Like,
The Coast Guard, they're taking their place, so they probably were answering their calls.
I guess you're right.
But my big question is, the boat that they were on when they got the cocaine, was that also the boat that had just a ton of dead bodies in it? It had to be.
Yeah.
So they were sailing around with the corpses. And then they went and got cocaine and they killed a boat full of those people. Why didn't they just dump the Coast Guard on that boat?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Or, like, I can't even imagine a bunch of guys, terrorists, standing around sailing a boat with corpses all over it.
I don't think they did that. I think they took the cocaine onto that boat and then they probably sunk the dead bodies. That's probably what
Yeah,
they
but
did.
then we saw that they left the dead bodies on the Coast Guard boat. Do you see what I'm saying? They were sailing around with the Coast Guard.
Yeah, it's kind of like giving away your position, because you're leaving the evidence behind. So obviously somebody has the Coast Guard's actual boat. you
No,
know?
the boat was what they got on with the corpses in it.
Oh, really?
They-
They left them below. I see.
Yeah, they went inside the boat where you drive the boat and they just found all the dead bodies in it.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
It just made
seemed
me
like
laugh.
such
I was
an
like, can you
elaborate
imagine?
plan.
Yeah.
Like, why so much? It's so extra. Like, why go through that? Just take a freaking dinghy out there and get your drugs. It's like, what's the point
Well,
of all
like
that?
I said, the point was they wanted to make sure the Coast Guard wasn't watching them.
Yeah, I guess.
They had to take that certain area and make sure they were patrolling it so the cops wouldn't know. But by leaving the corpses, you're already alerting that someone did something with the boat.
Right.
So now people are looking, but these cops are so incompetent that it doesn't matter.
Yeah, there's no like
have
fingerprinting or
no
anything like that. There's
skill.
there's no skill. There's no like, forensics. It's,
Yeah.
this stupid reporter who's like the worst part of the whole movie.
Yeah, let's talk about the reporter now too, because her introduction is terrible. She's played by an actress named Melissa Prophet. She was in Goodfellas, and she was in Casino. This is really funny ass trivia. Chuck Norris wanted Whoopi Goldberg to play this character.
I mean, it would have made some sense because it would have been at least an open, all-out comedy instead of like
Well,
trying
yeah,
to be a
she-
serious drama.
She would have brought something to the table that definitely needed to be in the movie. He was very into this. He wanted her in this movie, and he wanted her in that part. the director, Joseph Zito, said no. And he declined it. Chuck Norris is on record saying, well, I never worked with him again.
Oh, wow.
So that's odd. I mean, it's
But
crazy.
she was in the movie, so...
No, he wanted Whoopi Goldberg.
Oh, Whoopi Goldberg. Okay, I thought they were talking about...
No, he was like, that's who I want. That's all I care about.
So he was just... He wanted just a comedy, like a slapstick comedy. Is that
No,
what Chuck Norris wanted?
Because he wrote this film, hon. He's one of the 3 writers involved in this movie.
Yes, but I'm saying, what is the reasoning behind hiring Whoopi Goldberg?
I don't know, but Whoopi maybe would have changed the dynamic between her and him because they don't seem to want to share scenes together. He did not want to work with this actress, and you can see it in every shot.
Yeah. I mean, I will say that Whoopi does have acting chops. I mean, we've seen her do dramas, and she does a good job, so...
And this actress, unfortunately... her character comes off as just really obnoxious because the first scene we have is her acting like it's okay to go on an active crime scene.
Oh, yeah.
Tamper with
Freedom
evidence.
of the press, remember?
Yeah, she's like, freedom of the press and all that. And she's screaming at them, did you take anything? What photos did you take? What did you move? Of course you should know that you're a part of it now. And you should be held. I mean, that's just so stupid and idiotic. The way that she's reacting is like, all right, this character already sucks.
Yeah, she sucked so bad in this movie. I just did not like her. It was like, why would you... Okay, so you have an already ridiculous plot. And now you're throwing in this ridiculous reporter. Like, we need this. Like, a freaking hole in the head is ridiculous. We did not need her at all. It was just throwing more garbage into an already, like, trash fire. You know?
And then we cut to, since we're establishing, we also meet the cops. One of the I think the chief of police is played by the guy from, we found out the father in League of Their Own. Yeah, he just shows up and he's got like a couple scenes in this movie, but it's mostly giving face, like the kind of face that's just like, I don't like this.
He has a fart face. Like, he's just like,
he's always,
why am I in this movie? This is a turd.
Yeah. And we cut down to Chuck Norris and we meet Chuck Norris, who lives in the Everglades. He has a company where he brings people out on those, what are those called? Those water boats, the Everglade boats. I can't remember what they're called.
Airboat. It's an airboat. Yeah.
Oh, I'm an idiot.
You're a terrible Floridian.
I went on one once. I'll never do it again, I don't think.
I won't go on one of those things. Are you kidding? I'll sink. It'll sink. I just know it. Yeah, no thanks.
But he lives out in the swamp. He's got a pet armadillo.
I mean, that just seems weird.
It was a weird thing.
Well, I mean, we're not in Arizona. Who has that?
It was odd. And this is just like, we establish him and his friends, but none of it really matters. He's just, they show him like wrestling gators or whatnot. He's helping out with the gator stuff. It doesn't really matter.
No,
because
it doesn't.
We instantly cut back to our villain, who's having dreams of Chuck Norris.
Yeah, because he had stopped him previously when he was trying to commit like an assassination on someone, which we don't ever know who that was or why, but he was going to kill someone with a freaking rocket launcher.
I wanted it to happen so bad.
Chuck Norris stops him, doesn't kill him, obviously, but stops him.
Because he's told that you wouldn't let me kill him, and now you have to deal with it because I wanted to kill him. And I guess that's the scene. I don't know if it's like the scene was not truly what happened because it was a nightmare this guy was having, or it was the flashback comes out of nowhere without warning.
Yeah, there's no warning at all. Usually you can like catch the flashback it's okay, we get it. It's a flashback.
Yeah.
It's obvious that it is. But this, no, not at all. It was just, they just kind of scooched in there and just made it part of the movie.
I even said to you, I said, this isn't Florida.
I can,
and you were like, oh, I think it is. I think it's Miami. I said, it ain't not. This is another country now,
yeah,
right?
After I looked at the house and the architecture, I'm like, no. We don't have that.
Even
here.
The people who lived and worked there, I was like, what are they, in Nigeria? Where the hell are they?
Well, I can clarify this whole situation as to why they do not tell us anything. They don't elaborate on any story, any plot lines, anything. It's because Canon removed all that because they didn't want really any story. They wanted to focus on Chuck Norris and his action scenes. That's all Canon wanted.
Yeah, I heard they cut a lot of the movie out. Now, I can't imagine what would have been there because there isn't anything really happening.
I mean, we don't even
Like,
know
what
anything
characters
about
could have
it.
conversations?
Right. What is there to have a conversation about? They're bad guys, and they just killed a boat full of immigrants coming from Cuba trying to make a better life for themselves, and they just killed them all for cocaine.
Well,
okay?
can we also just admit that the best part of the movie is Richard Lynch?
I mean, yeah,
Because
he's a really good villain.
insane.
He is
in this
insane.
movie. The next scene is he brings the cocaine. The reason they wanted the cocaine, this is the most bizarre plot line. These guys can do anything they want. But for some reason they needed to smuggle in cocaine, steal it, now sell it to another staple villain heads in so much crap.
Oh yeah, he's a stock villain.
yeah.
I've seen him in so many movies.
Yeah,
this guy.
Billy Drago.
He has a cool name.
Yeah, is it Drago or Drago?
I think it's Drago.
Yeah, he was in the Untouchables. He was one of the big villains in the Untouchables. He is a guy who now they have to give him cocaine so he can buy guns.
I don't understand.
Yeah, and
But this isn't even the main plot of the movie. This is like just a side plot, like a little stupid side plot we don't need. The cocaine means nothing throughout this whole movie.
the
Nothing.
cocaine is only to set up that they are getting their guns from this gun runner by giving him coke, and to nail that Richard Lynch is a villain. The woman who goes and tests the coke with the coke straw, Richard Lynch slams her head into the straw, and it goes up her nose.
Oh, it was gross.
And then he takes her and chucks her out a window.
That was kind of awesome.
I was like, if they want us to think he's a villain, they're nailing it.
Okay, so they did all that, and we know they set that up, so we know that he's diabolical as fuck, right? Okay, fine. But what is the reasoning he left the building and didn't even take the bag of cocaine with him? So what was
the cocaine was
really...
unnecessary.
Yes, but he didn't have the guns.
That was my point before. Why wouldn't they just storm this guy's gun warehouse?
Right, and then just take everyone out there and just just take the guns. Like, it makes no sense, this cocaine plot.
Yeah,
It makes no
because
sense.
he gets a call that his like whoever's working with I think Richard Lynch's name is like Bosto or something like that. Something like
His name is Rostov.
Rostov.
Rostov? You think he's behind all this? Can't be. He's in Europe.
He's here.
I was close. He gets a call that they have the guns, and it was good doing business with you, and that's when he kills everybody in the room. Like I said, why they're doing this? They're trying to start now. The main plot of this fucking movie is the villains are just terrorists who want to start civil unrest, but they're invading on Christmas, are invading Miami, Florida, and then making everybody mad at each other.
Yes, okay.
It is so baffling. And then they're just like, we're going to start a war. That's their plan.
It's just, okay. Now, we don't know why this guy is this upset. First of all, this movie's called Invasion USA. We're only dealing with poor Florida here, okay?
Yeah,
Florida is the one that gets fucked up. We don't ever move beyond Florida. Our state is getting freaking fucked up, but it's not even the state. It's really literally Miami. Okay? And so this guy has this motivation from who knows where to just fuck up Florida for no reason. Just complete civil unrest. I mean, complete destruction for no fucking reason whatsoever. There's no plot in this movie. There's no
that's it.
What is the reasoning behind your anger? Like, why do you want to do this? What's the driving force? Is it for money? Is it for power? Like, what is it? We don't even know because they never tell us anything. It's just that they are just fucking up our state.
Well, there's a couple of scenes. There's a scene where they're on the beach eating hot dogs, and he talks to his coworker, or whatever you're gonna call this. I'm going to call him his coworker.
His goon.
This
is what
guy
he
seems
is.
like his bestie.
I mean, yeah.
He says to him, Americans in their freedom, they have they don't know how good they have it and how easy it is to take it away and turn them against each other. That's it. And so he's like the Joker. He's just like creating chaos. I don't know if they're going to scrape up the barrel after they cause the chaos or not. I don't really know. But what we got to talk about is his terrorist people, his goons, seem like they're from every nation.
Okay, we have people that we were making fun of, the one guy that looked like Latrine from Top Secret.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, they're like, there's French, there's Russian,
there is like a Korean guy.
I think we had.
I don't know if he's Filipino. There's a guy. All these people. There's every nation.
Yes, there was like an Asian man in there at one point. That like, okay, we know that there's no way that these people are all working together for one cause, and if that cause is actually there and there is a reason for all this, then they don't tell us. They don't tell us what the cause is that they're doing this for.
Yeah.
They're just doing it.
Yeah, one of his goons is Alex Colon. He is a Puerto Rican.
Right. So
And
what?
I know, right? He's like a bit actor. He was on a bunch of stuff. The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3. But all like we couldn't figure it out. We were just like, what the hell are these people? Why are they all involved? Like, why are they so mad in Miami?
I mean, they're literally okay. So we see that they get. I mean, there's hundreds of them.
Yeah, wait. This doesn't even make any sense either. They get the guns, but then some reason they get boats, and they're like the old D-Day boats.
Yeah, they
And
look
then
like yes.
they literally
D-Day
invade
boats.
the beach at night in Miami. But why? They just got the guns. They're already in Miami.
Yeah, I don't understand. It's like,
I
did
didn't
he just
understand
call
any
up
of
his
this.
bros in like Russia or something and been like, hey, can you send more goons from different countries because I need more goons? Because that's exactly what happened. They just came off the ocean and started running through the sand. Hey, we're here.
This is so funny because the right hand man that's working with the main bad guy, he's already on the beach, and he sees a flare, and there's a guy and a girl who are gonna have night sex on the beach.
They're just having fun. They're just making out. He
And
goes
they
over
don't
and
they don't
fucking
care about the
shoots
flare.
them.
Yeah, he shoots him with a silencer, and he's full on gunshots. It made me laugh.
I was like, oh my god,
He even
why?
shoots their television. He's mad.
Because they were just there.
Americans.
So, like, you're telling me that, yeah, he took them out, obviously, because they're storming the beaches over there in Normandy. Like, there's literally 4 boats with hundreds and hundreds of goons running out of the boats. Like, we're going to take over the universe type deal. And they only literally terrorize Miami.
Well, before you even get to that, did you notice what happened next? They storm the beach, and they run over into the parking lot, and he has like 15 trucks ready for them.
Oh my god. And
I was like, how did he get all these trucks here? Where are all these people coming from?
that's amazing, first of all, but then the best part is that you can hear them saying, oh, New York, oh, Las Vegas, oh, Arizona, blah, blah, blah. They were saying names of different cities
Weren't
and
they?
like states. Yeah. And I told you, I heard New York, I heard Las Vegas, I think I heard Chicago as well. And so I'm thinking here, oh my God, okay, they're going to hit every major city like, terrorists do. And no, nothing ever materialized out of that.
Yeah.
Nothing. They get in the cars and then they just start wreaking havoc.
Well,
It's crazy.
before that happens, this is how Chuck Norris comes in the film. Because a guy in the middle of the night rowboats in the middle of the night in the Everglades. I would never fucking... I don't...
In a suit.
in a suit, rowboats to Chuck Norris's shack.
Okay, can I just say this thing is made out of bubble gum
Yes.
and like wax paper. This shed. He lives in like this little shed. It's in the middle of nowhere in tall grass in the Everglades. There's no way that there's enough like hard ground in that area to support the weight of this structure.
Yeah, especially since it's swampland. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's literally swamp. There's no hard surface to build.
I mean, that's pretty much what we're all living on right now, actually, out here. So
I
it was all
mean-
swampland when I first moved out here. So yeah, I can't believe half the structures are still standing
I
out
mean,
here.
we at least have concrete.
But yeah, I don't know. This guy swims. He goes to a rowboat out, and it's pitch dark. It's the Everglades. There's no lights out here, and he goes to this house, and he decides to break in and enter this guy's house.
Yeah, first of all, we already know. I mean, I kind of knew that this guy knew him somehow because he's in a
Of course.
suit.
He thinks about knocking, but he just breaks in.
No, he just goes in, and so Chuck Norris like grabs him in the dark and says, you should sneak up on me like that. So we obviously know that he's some part of some organization. He's like a black op or something like that. And so the guy in the suit, just the fact that he rode himself in the like pitch blackness in the Everglades in the swamp with animals and frogs and nasty shit out there in the middle of the night, instead of just waiting till the morning to go and get Chuck Norris because he needs help. Because we're dealing with a terrorist situation and there's only one man on Earth that can stop them. And it's Chuck Norris and his denim. He's
the only guy that can stop him.
The only guy.
We have to get him because you're the guy. And that's the best part too. Is Chuck Norris is like, no, I left that life. It's that guy. He's that character. But then of course, he's got to think about, because the movie's going to start. And because movie... The villain, who has a past with Chuck Norris, happens to invade the same place that he lives.
What are the chances of that?
What are the chances? And the best thing is, this guy's like, I can't do my invasion of the U.S. until I kill him. And he has a nightmare so bad that his goons rush into the room and worry.
Oh my God, so he has a nightmare about Chuck Norris, putting a gun to his head and stopping him from blowing up whatever guy he was going to rocket launch in that dream. And the way he wakes up out of this dream is so violent that he literally shakes the freaking room. Fully dressed, yes. And so I guess the goons are like standing outside the door and they rush in like, oh my God, all like freaked out and nervous about him having this dream. And he's like, I have to kill him. I have to kill him. I can't do anything until I kill him. Like, really? Why would you want to fuck with Chuck Norris after what he did to you?
Exactly. And the whole reason the movie even happens here is because this guy is obsessed with him. And his right-hand man even says it. Mm-hmm. You're obsessed.
Yeah.
It's insane.
So, like, what really is the plan here? Are you planning to take over or just destroy Florida? Or are you planning on killing your nemesis?
I have a feeling that his plan always involved this dude.
I mean, it's
because
just,
why? What are the chances that he's going to invade the U.S. through Florida, where Chuck Norris is?
This bad guy seems to just know everything. He knows where Chuck Norris lives in the middle of a freaking sand dune. He knows everything. Why?
Yeah, he knows exactly where he lives. Why?
Yes.
How?
I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, well, of course he talks his bad guys into doing it. They go out to his shack in the middle of the Everglades to kill him.
And here's our second appearance of a rocket launcher.
This movie loves rocket launchers, but doesn't understand them at all and how they work.
Yeah, no, they treat them like they're shotguns, up-close weapons.
They treat them, not only that, we'll talk about how loading works.
Oh, God. Yeah, they don't ever load.
Of course, because movie, they don't kill Chuck Norris, they kill his friend, his co-worker, and then leave him for dead, Chuck Norris. Without checking on the body or anything, this bad guy is now okay with, oh, we killed him enough. Let's leave. Why this guy who's obsessed with this guy doesn't go and fully finish the job?
Like, you don't even want to double check.
He doesn't want
make
like
sure
a trophy.
You see his corpse.
He doesn't want at least to get his mustache.
He's like, blah, blah, blah. I did it. Blah.
I would frame his mustache.
Right.
I mean, or his mullet. I would take a souvenir, dude.
I mean, he doesn't even get off the airboat and check and see if Chuck Norris survived that explosion, which, I don't know. If you look at the far shot of this shack, it's literally just being held together with scotch tape. So I'm probably sure he didn't survive it.
And it's still standing. And the way that Chuck Norris got out is he jumped through the back window.
Yeah, he did make it out.
The cool thing I'll say about Chuck Norris in this film, the one thing that I'll say is cool about Chuck Norris in this film, he does his stunts.
He does. And I gotta say, he makes them look pretty good. For the most part.
Yeah,
I mean, except
well-
his jeans, his denim. He has so much denim, and it just there's no
That's
way.
doing most of the lifting in this film,
I mean,
literally.
his butt is trying to just reject those jeans. Okay, it does. There's no reasoning that they have to be that tight. How
His
could you
his
do
sack is in
actions?
every shot.
I mean,
it's in
it's-
every shot.
It's a bit extra. The jeans are just a little bit extra. Like, I mean, anybody's normal form would reject these denim jeans. They just don't bend and move when you're trying to do a freaking roundhouse
Yeah.
kick. Like, this is just the most ridiculous article of clothing to wear if you're an action star. I mean, at least Van Damme wore little tiny shorts. I mean, have some
Well,
sense.
at least this is what I have to say. At least all those other action stars have wounds.
Oh, he doesn't have a scratch on him.
The wound that actually ends up in this film at the very end is a joke. It's a joke.
It is, but I mean, he
We'll
got
get to
blown
it.
up, and he didn't even have a freaking cut on his
Oh, it's
face.
so stupid. It's ridiculous. But Chuck Norris is now forced into the movie because his friend was killed, his shack is blown up, and now he has to come out of retirement. This guy forced him to come after him.
Yeah,
This guy would have left him alone. This movie wouldn't have happened
I mean, see, the villain knows
Florida
what a
would have been gone
badass, Yeah,
if it wasn't for Chuck Norris getting shot at.
True, but the villain knows what a badass Chuck Norris is, and so he still thinks for 1 second that he died in that.
That he
thing.
gave up so easy on him.
Like, it was so shocking. So let's just.
So yeah, I mean, the movie happens now, and this is where Richard Lynch just goes on a killing spree, and that is the movie now. There is shot after shot, literally, I'm not even kidding, shot after shot of them killing people.
So, but can we just talk about this one scene in this movie that is so crazy?
Which one?
Okay, so the scene where he's blowing up all of the okay, so Richard Lynch goes into this residential neighborhood with his goons and just starts rocket launching people's homes where children are. They're decorating their Christmas trees and they're just, having dinner and living their lives, and he's literally blowing up. He must have blown up with a rocket launcher no less than 6 homes. And then I read the trivia on this and I was like, holy shit, this is a real demolition.
They
this is,
had to shut down a
slated-
neighborhood in Atlanta.
Yeah, these homes were slated to be demolished, and they literally blew them up. And I was like, wow, that looks really real for a reason.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did they really let Richard Lynch shoot rocket launcher? But if you watch the scene, he shoots, like you said, 6 times. Mm-hmm. Rocket launchers don't have reloads.
No, he doesn't even reload.
You have to put a missile into the damn thing.
They don't show that. They just skip over that.
The smoke comes out of the back. You know that there's nothing behind it.
Right.
It's like, that's how it works.
In fact, when he popped his head out of the Jeep so he could shoot this rocket launcher, there was a goon standing right behind him. I'm like, you do know you're going to take a blast to the face, you stupid
There's a
a-hole.
lot of that too. Yeah, there's so much of that.
So ridiculous. And there's scenes in this movie where the goons literally dress as cops and have a legit Miami cop car, and they just pull up to this little nightclub, and the people are having a good time outside dancing and chilling out, and they just freaking start blasting. It's just crazy that they just choose violence in this just the craziest ways. You're only destroying Miami. I don't understand what your goal is here.
Beyond that too, they don't finish the job because they're told to leave witnesses.
Why?
Because they want them to turn on the cops?
Okay, I understand that's a way to destroy,
Trying to make civil unrest?
Yeah, and I get it, and that's exactly what happens, because after that event, when the real cops do show up,
Which is interesting. Probably the most interesting parts.
It is, yeah, because the people that did survive that attack, they start throwing bricks and sticks and rocks and stuff like that at the actual cops until the cops literally drive away because they're getting assaulted by the townspeople. This goes on in different ways throughout this movie a million times, but can we please talk about the worst? Chuck Norris seems to be in every single...
So is the reporter. We didn't get to talk about that too.
Oh, the reporter. Okay, so she's terrible. But she knows to be in every single spot where bad things are going to happen. She knows to be there. Like,
Yep.
she just knows to be there. Now, mind you, this situation where they are in Miami, they're outside having a barbecue, whatever, dancing, just having a good time. And she just shows up there. And then, oh my goodness, something bad happens. It's every single scene in the movie. This bitch is literally there every time.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's no way that this can happen. But it's worse for Chuck Norris because he has some kind of radar where he knows where all the bad guys are going. And my favorite scene in the movie, which is the most ridiculous scene of all time, is that he knew that there was a bomb placed on a school bus with children in it.
Oh, you're really cutting past everything. But yeah, okay.
I mean, I had to talk about the most ridiculous scene because I still can't get over it.
There's a couple. I mean, there's so many before that is insane. But yeah, that's one of the final ones.
Yeah, I just have to say that he literally just reaches over outside the car window and takes the bomb.
Yeah, terrorists are just doing wacky shit. They decide to put C4. First off, all the parents, because Florida is so friggin' screwed that they're deciding to let their children leave the state. So they're putting their children on buses. It's very confusing what's happening here. And the villains, of course, just drive up and stick C4 on it.
Yeah.
And it's like a bus full of children, and you're like, oh my God, how much worse could this get? But going 5 miles an hour, Chuck Norris just drives up onto the bus and just grabs the C4 up, then is able to drive forward and catch up to the terrorists who are slowly driving in an obvious area where there's no other cars on the road and stick the C4 right on their hood in perfect timing to blow them up.
Which is amazing because like they were just saying on the newscast that don't try to leave your homes because the roads are blocked. There's, traffic, back to back, bumper to bumper. You
And
can't
there's
get
no
out.
traffic.
Nobody on the highway.
There's no one in the highway. It's so weird. The whole movie, going back to you saying that they shot off the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
It should be this amazingly cool thing that they're blowing houses up with families in it. It should be so sad. It should be done such a way. It's done in a way where it feels goofy. It feels disconnected. Even the explosions don't feel epic.
No.
They feel strangely subdued. And you were waiting for more and more explosions to happen. I kept thinking of that scene in Lethal Weapon where they're walking into the house and it explodes the house. It looks... And you know that those two most got hurt. It's just insanely amazing to look at. It still holds up today. And this scene, something this epic of a guy shooting a rocket launcher at 6 houses in a row should be the coolest damn thing we've ever seen on film. And somehow it's just not. And the whole film is like that. And really comes down to Chuck Norris, who, like you said, gets involved and then goes on a hunting spree. Every scene that he's in, he's like a wet mop. He doesn't have any emotion. His one-liners are terrible.
Oh, can I tell you my favorite one-liner? Because it's literally the only one-liner in the movie. The people aren't on IMDb are saying there's a lot of one-liners.
No, they're terrible.
There isn't.
None of them connect in any interesting way.
No, but isn't that his thing to do a one-liner?
Well, no, it's just his thing is that he became a meme sensation. People kind of mockingly enjoying him, but he never did that. He started agreeing with the memes. You know what I mean?
So I went in, and I bent down and I petted him, and all of a sudden, you heard this, like that. So the trainer says, get up very slowly and back up. So the tiger did. He slowly got up and backed out.
Yeah, well...
These are not cool one-liners. These are not Arnold level.
Not Arnold level, no. But he says in the movie, he's smacking somebody up, to get some information. And one of the goons walks in and he smacks him and he leaves the room and then he comes back again and Chuck Norris says, if you come back in here, I'm going to hit you with so many rights, you're going to beg for a left.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
But that's not even
one of the one-liners is something like there's a guy he has to go talk to and he's trying to get information and this scene is so quick it doesn't even matter. But the guy's like, I'll see you in hell. and he says, "Send me a postcard." Doesn't even like make sense.
No, it doesn't. But
It's
you
like,
want to know
what?
What doesn't make sense is the goddamn mall scene.
Well, yeah, I'm like, okay. Well, I mean, there's so many things here to talk about. Even just the like shooting up the stand with the Spanish people in it. The gore is not. The violence feels very fake, and to make it worse, this mall sequence now. Now, if this was directed by anybody else, now just go watch Blues Brothers.
Oh.
And just watch how epic everything feels in that film. If this was a John Landis movie, this would have been the coolest damn thing ever filmed.
Yeah.
You know,
it would. They're on a mission from God. That's why.
That mall scene is insane. And they did it in a way where you're still to this day going, how much did they spend? How did they do this?
Yeah.
And in this film, we get a mall scene like that. That's like a Christmas mall shopping.
Yeah,
with
so
terrorists.
They're just going around to any location that they possibly can to destroy all the lives that they possibly can. So this is just one of the locations, like aside from the neighborhood that they just blew up. Now they're doing a mall, and they're going to destroy a mall. So they give one of their goons a package that looks like a Christmas gift, and he leaves it in the middle of the floor at a department store in the mall. And someone obviously sees it because there's a million Christmas shoppers. And so the guy's like, "Oh my God, sir, you left your package. You left your package." And he takes the package, starts running after the guy. And the guy's running like hell to get away from this guy. And then all of a sudden you see police and they're like, "Wait, stop that guy."
Yeah.
But why?
This is the most intense trying to give somebody something they forgot.
Yeah.
If a guy starts running away when you say that, you automatically should know something's wrong.
Yes, he ran away.
This guy's so into giving this package back that he gets the cops involved.
Yes.
And chasing him. Not one moment did they think maybe this isn't a good idea.
Yeah.
It actually takes the terrorist to run into his other friends who now shoot bullets.
They just start riddling people in the mall with bullets.
Which allows the package to finally go off somewhere else.
Yeah.
And it was like, if you guys were also going to shoot people, why even do the package?
Why do the package? Like, everything with these villains was so extra.
Yes.
It wasn't like, okay, like, what they were doing was literally just terrorizing random people. It was not even, there was no rhyme or reason to any of this. They didn't have a set plan. They just went around the town and did like bully shit, except fatal bully shit. You know what I mean? Like they did this well elaborate, stupid things that took so much time and planning for what? For what?
That's my point. Yeah, what for what? It's so weird. But of course, like you already brought up, Chuck Norris knows everything. So Chuck Norris has some kind of radar for terrorists, and he shows up in the mall.
Yeah, but he doesn't just show up at the mall, okay? There's chaos and there's bullets being flown around
true.
And there's a freaking bomb that just went off and he crashes through the front window of the mall.
Yeah.
Doesn't even think that there could be human beings there and he could have run them over. No, he just jumps through the freaking glass with his truck because he knows that something has gone down there. How?
Yeah.
How do you know? He literally knows when everything bad is happening. It's crazy.
We didn't... Okay. There is so much to unpack with him in this movie. We didn't even talk about the fact when he gets to Miami for the first time. He drives down the block. It is the funniest Miami street we've ever seen in our lives. We were laughing. We're like, Miami might be bad, but this is next level. This was like Mad Max. I mean, everybody in the road looked at him driving his truck and wanted to kill him.
Yes, it was
everybody.
Like post-apocalyptic shit. Like people were screaming at him and throwing shit at
walking toward his truck like they wanted to fight him.
Yeah.
Even prostitutes were telling them screw off.
Yes. I was like, oh my God. First of all, this is so ridiculous.
It was wild. And that's his introduction to Miami. And I guess, well, you know what? I guess we're supposed to feel like, it's like the movie's asking a question that doesn't even want to ask. It's like, hey, is it worth saving? Well, we don't really care.
Right.
He just wants to kill terrorists. And he doesn't seem to take joy. He doesn't have any, there's nothing about it that's, making him feel like he's doing anything important. he just wants to kill Richard Lynch.
Yeah, but it doesn't.
It doesn't really make sense. And there's not even scenes of him really saving people. There's one scene of him saving the reporter. And so when he's like shooting in the mall, he doesn't seem like he gives a shit about any like collateral damage.
No.
So in the mall scene, they're shooting at him. He never dodges, like hardly. He stands still. Mm-hmm. And they're shooting Gatling guns, machine guns, rocket launchers. He basically just steps aside.
Yeah, and you know what the best part is, I made mention of this to you, is that anytime he's driving a vehicle in this movie, there is at least 5 to 7 goons shooting like machine guns at his vehicle, and not even one shattered windshield.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing feels genuine.
Nothing
at
lands.
All.
Nothing happens to him. He doesn't get a scratch. I mean, it's just bonkers.
It's so wild. He's doing crazy shit. He just walk. And by the way, his weapon of choice is to have 2 slinged machine guns, Uzis. Under each arm, he has where you would normally have a holstered handgun. He has 2 slinged Uzis, and he just picks them up and just shoots them like they're handguns. And he doesn't even act. He just doesn't blink. He stands there like Frankenstein.
Yeah, there's no emotion off of his face at all.
It's so weird. It is so emotionally detached. He goes and saves, for no reason, the right-hand man of Richard Lynch has held up. There's like civil unrest at a meat market where we can tell in the background there was hills. So we're like, those famous Florida hills.
Oh yeah, first of all, there weren't hills. Okay, they were mountains. They were mountains.
Yeah, the mountains. The only mountains we would have here is trash. The trash heap. So yeah, we were laughing about that. But then it was like, the terrorists decided, well, there's unrest at the meat market, and people said there's no meat because they can't get meat in because they're the terrorists. And so this is where the terrorists decided to strike. And Chuck Norris, of course, shows up. But of course, the news reporter's there as well. And the news reporter gets taken hostage. Chuck Norris just walks up behind the guy and makes the gun go to his head instead of hers. And he shoots himself.
Yeah.
I laughed so hard. I'm like, that was one of the best terrorist kills.
It's like he
ever.
used like a Jedi trick or something.
Yeah.
Like, okay, first of all, I mean,
that's the only person he saves.
Right. There's a million people there. And like, it's crazy because we're supposed to care about this reporter. I don't know why.
I don't know why either.
But why is she in the movie? Like, there's no reasoning. She's just annoying. And so there's no reason for her. There's nobody in this movie that we're rooting for. I'm not even rooting for Chuck Norris because I literally
kind of don't care. Yeah.
I don't care. Like, he has there's no acting coming off of him whatsoever. None. It's so ridiculous. I mean, even Rambo got hurt. Come on. You know, like, this is ridiculous.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. There doesn't seem like there's stakes to his journey.
No, he doesn't, like, none of the bullets land no matter what. Like, he has at all times no less than 7 or 8 goons firing machine guns at him as he's standing still. And he doesn't even bat an eyelash. Yep. He stands there. Yeah. It's unbelievable. It's like, if you're going to make an action movie, just try. Like, even Predator, they got fucked up. You know, Arnold got fucked up. It's like, I mean, look at John McClane, for Christ's sake. He got so fucked up. Make it realistic a little bit. It
makes me think that he thought, this is cool. You know, that I seem cool.
I mean, I can understand that.
His jeans aren't even sweaty. They're not even dirty. Like,
he doesn't get dirty. He gets blown up.
The funniest thing happens in this movie where, for some reason, he just sits back and watches television one night.
He goes to his fucking hotel room and he sits and watches some comedy show. Meanwhile, the world is blowing up. I'm sorry, excuse me, Miami.
Yeah. He watches a movie, a black and white movie of violence, and he just like laughs. And the cops break in and they arrest him. Because it turns out that he works for an agency that's like unnamed.
Yeah, that's that suit guy that, he rode over to his little cottage.
And they told him if he gets caught, that disavow that we work for us.
Yeah, you have to deny all knowledge
Yeah.
of us.
And so they arrest him, and they're like, "You're above the law." First off, he's the only one stopping terrorists.
Yeah, so our own military, like, at one point, not only was the terrorists, like, they were disguising themselves as Miami police officers, but they were also disguising themselves as military. And I'm talking full-on camo, full-on jeeps, like, military gear,
Yeah,
everything.
they
Like,
can do anything.
Can do anything. Where are you getting this shit,
Yeah,
first
they
of
keep
all?
killing people and taking their stuff. I don't even understand how. They have so many people on their side. It's so crazy. Well, the wildest shit happens here because he gets taken into the police station, and the news reporter asks you. For some reason, all the reporters. This is hell on earth. Terrorists are completely taking over Miami, and the reporters are at the police station like normal, and they're all asking questions to Chuck Norris, and they give Chuck Norris an ample amount of time to talk into the cameras. And of course, he talks right to Richard Lynch, and he basically gives the dullest, most subdued dialogue to him by saying, you thought I was dead. You thought it was over. I'm coming for you. You're going to die next. That's how it's going to be.
It's time for you to die.
Yeah,
That's what he says.
Yeah.
In, like, the most, like, stale, like, emotionless way.
Yeah.
It was like, dude, are you awake? Come on.
Yeah.
Like, and even his action scenes, yes, he's getting blown up and throwing himself around, yes. But his fight scenes are really just mediocre.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he doesn't do anything amazing. Like, when you see JCVD on screen, he is freaking nailing it. He is beating the shit out of people in a beautiful, graceful way. He's doing those roundhouse kicks, those splits, all that shit that he does.
Yeah.
And it's entertaining. Chuck Norris is like a freaking, like, it's like he's dead. He's just dead. There's nothing going on. Like, what are you doing, man? Are you alive in this movie?
Give it something, right? Like give something to the movie. Give something. This movie actually made me appreciate more action films. Like, I'm like, man, I can't really talk bad about most action films when something that had this much availability, so many extras, so many explosions, so many sets to blow up, and they made it look like shit, and they like decided not to go with any gore or anything big, makes me go, man, some of those movies, man, like are amazing. The Raid is just the best damn thing ever made.
Oh my God,
huh?
The Raid is like everything.
I can't stop thinking about it. I'm like, damn, that is the best thing ever, isn't it? Wow.
Like, we've seen
Everything's so much
movies,
more impressive now.
So I know, like,
This is
Charles
what people need to
Bronson
see.
too. Charles Bronson's a really good action star, but he's an older man in the movies that we've seen of his.
Death
but
Wish.
he's still Death Wish.
Death Wish
He
movies.
is bringing it.
Yeah.
He is bringing it. You could see
That's-
all of the emotion in him, and he's bringing it.
Yeah,
Chuck
those
Norris,
are also canon films.
Yep, they are.
And those
yeah.
also have the same type of budget and kills, but in those movies, there's gore and there's
Yeah.
stakes and emotion. He wants to kill people because they raped his family or
Yep.
killed his family or raped somebody he knows. There's a reason. There's a stake to it.
Yeah.
And when he gets justice, you kind of like clap.
Yeah,
In
you
this
do.
movie, you're like, all right.
Like, we don't care. And you know what? I think that's bullshit. I think what Cannon's saying about how they cut the story because they wanted to focus on the action scenes and Chuck Norris and stuff, I think that's bullshit. I think Chuck Norris said, look, I don't want to do much acting or, hard work in this. So, just cut the story.
Yeah, because what could they have cut? Because this movie would have been 3 hours.
I know.
This
God.
movie's already like an hour and 45 minutes.
Oh, geez. You can feel it.
You feel it.
Yeah.
After like the 5th explosion, you're like, whatever.
But, like, it's just so...
Like, damn, what a missed opportunity this is. The when he gets kidnapped by the cops,
Yeah.
when he gets arrested, I guess it's some kind of huge twist that he's actually working with the cops, and it was all a trap.
So why would they show that to us? You know what I mean?
They're lying to
Like,
us.
They showed it to us like, oh, we're going to arrest this guy because he's a vigilante or whatever.
I think this is one of those moments where it's supposed to be cheering, but
I didn't. I'm like, oh, yeah, he's working with the cops.
because the stupidest shit ever happens, they steal. There's an entire elaborate plan. They want to go to the police station and kill Chuck Norris again, sacrificing their hand by going and storming the police building. And he doesn't just bring a few terrorists with him. He brings all of the terrorists with him.
Yes.
So many that they have to steal Brinks trucks.
Yeah, so they attack an armored car warehouse. And they kill, oh my god, in a terrible way, they kill the 3 guys working
That was one
there.
of the coolest looking things, but then they were still alive somehow. I don't even know.
I don't know. But they steal the armored cars. For what reasoning? Because they could literally just steal tanks because they've been just doing that throughout the whole fucking movie.
I was wondering about that.
So
I was wondering why
what
they
are you
didn't steal
doing?
tanks.
Like, why didn't they steal tanks?
They steal a helicopter. They don't steal tanks.
They are the worst villains of all time.
Yeah, they're bad.
And our hero sucks. So it's like, okay, who are we rooting for here? I don't know if I'm rooting for the villains or the hero because I don't even want anyone to win here. These people are awful.
Yeah. Look, they steal Brinks trucks to drive through the most easy to get through gauntlet of street blockage. And they drive like 3 or 4 Brinks trucks full of terrorists through it. And then the funniest bit is at the end of those Brinks trucks, there's just like a normal pickup truck with like 50 terrorists standing in the back.
Yeah, okay.
And none of them get killed by the guards shooting at them. And nobody's taking out their tires.
Nobody's taking out the tires. There's a million military guys, with tanks in that blockade, which the bad guys just somehow scoot around like, it's nothing. And nobody gets hit.
None of the terrorists get killed. And what we find out is, since this is a ruse, right, on them, none of that was actually important. I guess just done to make them believe that they were really going into something important. But to go through that much just to go to the building to kill Chuck Norris is a huge thing because they would still have to get out. And they would be sacrificing themselves by having no exit plan. But what's really odd is one helicopter lands on the roof. The villains land one helicopter to do what? To only let Richard Lynch get away? What about all the 150 other terrorists that go with him to storm this building?
Oh, I mean, I'm sure they can just jump in their armored cars and just dip.
But they're leaving those cars and going inside and allowing the cops outside, or not the cops, it's the entire military. Yeah, armed forces are at this damn thing.
They had 9 tanks.
Yeah, and well, I guess they didn't see the tanks. I guess they were hiding them because they stormed the cop building, and nobody realizes after it's like a comical Blues Brothers where they're all the guards and all the cops are running up the stairs. There 150 people run through this building shooting nobody.
Yep.
Because it's empty, and they go all the way up.
Right. Now, you get through the main building of this police station and there's no people.
Yeah.
Maybe something would click in your villain brain that maybe this is a setup.
Yes.
Maybe this is a trap. And this is the stupidest villain of all time. He literally has no rhyme or reason to anything that he's doing. He doesn't even realize it until he gets to like the 11th floor. And like people, there's nobody in the building.
Yes.
Except for one man.
They don't even look or go near an area where jail cells are.
No.
They just go all the way up and shoot office rooms. There's actually cubicles. What police station has cubicles?
I mean, I guess they do.
What is happening in this building?
They do have to do paperwork.
Well, this is my favorite. Every single cop has left the building, and it's only Chuck Norris. And they realize it's a trap. So all the 150 other terrorists run out the front door to be met with the entire U.S. Army and tanks, helicopters, and of course, one person shoots a bullet, so everybody starts shooting, and there's just mass hysteria for the next 20 minutes outside.
This goes on forever.
Ever.
Like, we're talking about our military, who we had like 9 tanks, ground people, helicopters, all sorts of police presence there, and these bad guys are literally stuck in the front of the police station. There's nowhere else for them to go. So they're huddled in there like a bunch of like little rats. And it's taking this long to take them out when you have 9 tanks?
Yes.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, and not once did I say, you know what I said, wow, the scope of this is neat. but not one moment of it is cool.
No, there was nothing.
Nothing
neat.
about it is like, oh wow, that was cool looking.
Yeah.
Oh wow, look how cool that looked, or
nothing.
Nothing like that. It's just like, oh wow, I can't believe they got this many extras.
Oh my god, yeah, and they were all, like you said, from different countries.
Yeah, everybody.
Like, okay, wait a minute. What country is doing this invasion of the USA?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if it's a Russian main bad guy and then a Puerto Rican, I don't understand what's happening. Well, Richard Lynch and a few of his goons are still inside the building while the outside chaos is happening. Mm-hmm. And you can't hear any of it. There's
can't hear any of the tanks
shooting, helicopters shooting from above where they are in their position inside the building.
Soundproof building.
Nothing.
Soundproof.
Totally silent. And Chuck Norris is able to so easily kill all of these goons in this office building. Our favorite is that he shoots a bullet. I think it's like a rocket launcher. He shoots a rocket launcher at a wall, 2 of them, and it pushes 2 giant holes through 2 guys on the other side of the wall.
Okay.
And now my first thought was, these 2 guys have exploded.
Like, their guts are all over the place.
When he goes in this room, there should be blood everywhere.
Everywhere. Mm-hmm.
Which would have, again, used that Greg Nicotero and Tom Savini gore. Would have been amazing. Instead, we just have 2 comical holes and 2 guys just laying on the floor.
Yeah.
And they're just like, I think one of them's alive.
One of them's alive. I was waiting for you.
Yeah.
One of them is alive, and he gets up and he's like,
and he
Chuck
throws his
Norris,
knife. Yeah, you walked out. You got up for that moment. He just chucks his ass knife. He has an ass knife.
Yeah, he has an ass knife, and he pulls it out of his ass, and he goes, "Bleh," and that's it.
That's it.
Okay, well, thanks for that, because there's literally 2 cannon-sized holes in this wall.
Yeah, and they're alive.
They're okay.
There's
they're
like a
fine.
thick concrete wall on the floor, like missing from these walls.
Yeah, there would be body parts everywhere. It was ridiculous.
It should have just been
I was like,
blown up.
But can we just talk again? And I can't stress this enough. The lack of emoting.
Yes.
I mean, he literally walks in the room after he blows 2 holes in the wall, and he stands there with the same look on his face that he's had throughout the whole movie. He doesn't even move his eyebrows.
Yeah.
Like, it's just annoying as fuck. I'm like, okay, Chuck Norris, like, we know that you're doing the whole badass thing and whatever, and that's fine. But like I said to you before, we have so many amazing action stars that know how to use their fucking face.
Yes.
And this guy, like, I just can't take it. Like, this is the worst acting in an action film, or sorry, lack of acting in an action film I have ever seen.
It's almost like parody. You can't really tell if you can take it serious or not. Well, on my favorite, now this is my favorite. He fights Richard Lynch, but my favorite bit of this is that he disappears. Chuck Norris disappears and Richard Lynch can't find him, and he just pounces on him from a corner of a room, and we kept saying, where was he?
He was like,
was he standing on a file cabinet just waiting?
Or stuck to the wall like Spidey.
Yeah. We just couldn't stop laughing. We're like, where the hell is he? This is that joke about Batman, like when he vanishes and everybody's like, don't know where he is. And you know he's secretly standing behind a plant, or he's like hiding on the floor, and everybody's just like, that's amazing. Where did he vanish to? That's what Chuck Norris does a couple times. But you keep wondering, why is he doing it?
Why?
It's like he's playing with his food.
It is. Like, just beat his ass already.
Because he keeps doing it easily. You think that Richard Lynch, this is going to be a good fight. It's not.
No.
He literally just keeps kicking the shit out of him. He actually, at one point, like, you know how when you, like, lazily put your foot to a door to open it?
Yes.
He does that to Richard Lynch and knocks him over a cubicle.
Oh my God. So I think that stunt person actually got hurt.
It looks great.
It does look really good, but I fear for that person because I think that the part of the wall in the cubicle was supposed to break out, but that part didn't. And he went over it and his whole gut was smashed into it. It was really
I love that.
crazy.
There's a shot. It's just like Richard Lynch's ass.
Yes,
he's
that's
like
the scene.
sprawled over the cubicle, and his ass is in the shot. And couldn't stop laughing. I was like, this is embarrassing. This is embarrassing for this poor actor and the character. I guess we want this to happen because he's been shown throughout this movie to kill children and kill people regardless, just randomly blowing people up and killing Americans. So we want his revenge on this guy. But when it comes, we're just kind of like, yeah, but can I have something epic?
Yeah.
Well, I guess it does come because Chuck Norris, Richard Lynch runs into a room because Chuck Norris has disappeared again during this fight, and he's able to grab another. Rocket launchers are everywhere. Rocket launchers are like fountain pens.
He finds it behind a desk.
Yeah, you can or a Bic. You can just find a big pen. You could just pick it up. He just finds a rocket launcher and picks it up and gets ready. He starts aiming at walls. I don't even know what he's aiming at. But of course, Chuck Norris just slowly walks up behind him with another rocket launcher and just clicks it open. Slow as hell. Does not care if now that Richard Lynch, who is aiming, could just spin around and shoot.
Yep.
Nope. He spins around. Chuck Norris is still able to just shoot him with a rocket launcher through a window.
Yes, but what's amazing about this is that neither one of these dumb fuckers cares that they're in a building, in a hallway, literally about, I would say, maximum 4 feet from each other.
Yes.
And they would kill each other had one of them fired anyway.
Yeah.
So how does he... And the best part about Chuck Norris is when he fires his rocket launcher at Richard Lynch, he doesn't even... There's no blowback. Like, he doesn't... none of his hair moves. Like, when you fire a rocket launcher, you would think that there would be, like, some blowback. Like, you'd maybe be blown backwards a little bit, maybe step backwards, or just be a little bit disheveled, taken aback a little bit, because you just shot someone that's literally 4 feet from you. No, there's nothing.
Yeah,
he just stands there, completely emotionless.
If I'm not mistaken, he doesn't even pick it up to shoulder it. He just shoots it with his hand, holding it downward, isn't he?
I don't think he put it on his shoulder.
I don't even remember him pushing a button. I just remember shooting.
Yeah.
And you're absolutely right. The force that comes out of the back of a rocket launcher would blow the wall up behind him because he's in a hallway.
Yes, there's a hallway.
I would love to see. God, I wish the Mythbusters were around still to do something test
I know.
on this.
I would love to see someone test
what
this
would
theory.
happen.
Like, first of all, who the hell would ever fire a goddamn rocket launcher in a building? Number one, because the whole building could just come down on your head and kill you as well. But within 4 feet of another human being, this is not a goddamn shotgun.
Yeah.
It's not a pistol. It's not a knife. Why would you use this weapon indoors? It's so stupid.
But my favorite is that the make of the explosive department, whoever did the rig,
it's either Tom Savini
they
or...
strapped it. There's like 50 people on this list. They strapped a bomb, apparently, you can tell, to a mannequin. Because when it blows out the window, you can see funny ass parts of a dummy.
It's definitely a mannequin head.
You can see a mannequin head fly out, and it looks like a Richard Lynch wig flies out one direction while the head is going the other direction.
Yeah.
It is terrible.
It is.
And you know what the best part about this is? It just cuts to the credits.
Oh my god, no, it doesn't. Because after you see him get blown up, they cut to Chuck Norris standing there with a tiny little cut on his forehead, microscopic cut on his forehead.
He has a tiny little scrape.
And no dirt on his clothes whatsoever, and he's just standing there, and then Finn. That's
it. Credits roll.
I'm like, I hate this movie.
He doesn't even say anything. Like, you think that he would say a great one-liner.
Nothing. There's nothing happening on his face or coming out of his mouth. Nothing. This was the worst. It was like the most over-the-top, ridiculous action movie I have seen. Let me tell you, we watched The Fast and the Furious, and there's nothing more ridiculous and over-the-top than that shit. But at least, and you can yell at me if you want, but at least Vin Diesel had some kind of emotion on his face from time to time.
Yeah.
He cried.
I guess.
He cried.
Oh, sorry.
I
guess, but
he got angry.
His superhuman shit. Yeah, that's just as bad. That's like another level of it.
It's the same shit, except Vin Diesel was wearing combat boots and cargo pants instead of jeans and a denim shirt.
I think that the what the Fast and the Furious has become is a mix between this and Armageddon.
Oh, so you mean the astronauts that were
just
sent to space?
Insane science.
Oh,
that they
okay.
could do anything they want. They could make they made a race car basically on the planet. They had to drive those trucks through the asteroid. An asteroid.
Yeah.
That's virtually. But with this Chuck Norris character, the reason that the Fast and the Furious movies were ever even decent was because of characters like Paul Walker's character, the heart,
Paul
the
Walker,
emotion.
yes, he was the heart of the entire franchise.
Yeah.
And when we lost Paul Walker, the heart
It's
of the
done.
franchise
Yeah.
is done. They should have ended the franchise.
But that's where we are here. This is exactly if Vin Diesel had his way, no side characters. I work alone. Because that character was never about family, and now he's like family. But this
Right.
Chuck Norris character is like nobody. I don't have anything, and I don't care.
right. He just
Like he has nothing going for him. There's absolutely nothing. The thing that sucks is just how much they could have done that would have been awesome.
yeah.
Like they could have had a preview, right? The movie trailer could have been something like this, right? They could have said Miami, Christmas Day, when the terrorists come out to play. You know?
something.
Or yeah, and that's when Chuck Norris comes to slay.
If you come back in here, I'm gonna hit you with so many rights, you're gonna beg for a left.
Dun, dun, dun. And then you have like Christmas Invasion or something fun, you know, and you just do crazy shit and have, I don't know, Chuck Norris dressed like Santa Claus. I don't care.
Something.
Fun with the explosions and stuff they can do, and have rated R, have the gore, have the insanity, have, just over the top stuff, but make it fun. I definitely think that Chuck Norris might have been right, that Whoopi Goldberg might have brought something fun.
I mean, maybe he would have cracked a smile or something.
And maybe there would have been more of a reason to have those two characters together.
Yes.
Maybe there would have been like stopping that I work alone shit. Maybe he would have been like, I have a friend I care about.
Yeah.
Because you can see that he clearly did not want to work with this actress that's in this movie, and they hardly have seen.
It doesn't seem like anybody wants her in this movie because, I mean, she's just, number one, the most annoying broad on the planet. But then when she's, in the scenes, it's like nobody really cares what's happening to her. She gets fucked up. He'll pull her by her arm and pick her up off the floor, and then like, see ya. Like, why is she even in the movie or even a thing? They don't even show her at the end.
At the end, she's in the police station, and she, they basically share a line. It's the only time that they're really friendly. She says, he says, how's the war going? Mm-hmm. And she's like, I should be asking you. It's like for the first time, it's like they're kind of sharing, like I get you and you get me. We're both trying to do something. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't go any. That's it. She's out of the movie after that. Doesn't even matter.
Yeah, there's no rhyme or reason to her character
any of
at
it.
all.
So,
God.
Even when his friend died in the Everglades, he just like burned him alive. He put him in the house and set it on fire, and then left and didn't tell anybody.
Yeah.
He's just like, that's it.
Okay, so this man
His
didn't
armadillo
have any...
got loose, and he's just like, all right.
Whatever.
Bye.
I mean, honestly, this man who he was friends with didn't have any family or anything.
Anything, yeah.
Like, come on, like you're not even gonna do anything to like bury him or tell anyone that he died. Like, there's no emotional situation in this movie at all.
Yeah.
And this is why we can't have nice things, according to my segment here that I'm going to do. I'm going to I can't even believe I found a 10-star review, but yeah. Read one 10-star review, one 1-star review. These people are insane. I just have to say it. So I'm going to read the one 10-star review. And it's the greatest movie ever made.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And it says, this is the greatest movie ever made. After this one, filmmakers should have just given up. It has everything. Explosions, gunfire, and Chuck Norris. The bad guys hatch a scheme to invade the USA, but there's one thing they didn't bargain for. That's right. They didn't bargain for Chuck Norris. It's got some great action. Did I mention explosions? And lots of Chuck Norris kicking the crap out of bad guys. It's a great movie for the whole family.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so I don't know about you guys, but we don't have children. If we did have children, I'm not going to sit them in front of the TV and say, here you go, kids. Why don't you just watch these terrorists destroy people?
What the hell?
That's just fun for the whole family. I wouldn't want my little baby nieces and nephews to sit and watch this shit. I got nothing. This review.
I can't even take him seriously because these Chuck Norris people, like, that's the joke, like, overdo it. So I can't even take that seriously. It could have been a joke in itself.
It's probably a joke. I mean, he's probably just trying to raise the rating, like,
Yeah, probably.
like you always say, they're trying to do that. But yeah, so then there's a 1-star review.
No, I can't wait.
I don't know if I can even. Okay, so the 1-star review, I have to, keeping in with the theme of the 10. Tragic end for a soldier. I felt so bad for the U.S. soldier who was killed 5 times in the battle sequence at the end of the film that I felt my intended 10-star rating must be reduced to just 1. Okay, just kidding. The whole movie sucked.
Yeah, and what he's talking about, too, is that in the end battle scene, there are a couple soldiers that are killed in the weirdest ways. One's just, like, standing. He's just standing there in the gunfire. And I was like, well, yeah, you're going to die.
It's like, did you have any training when you entered the army? Take cover?
Yeah. And I guess what he's talking about is that you could see him die in multiple frames. But
yes.
I didn't even pay attention enough to care. Like, I just couldn't stop laughing. There was a lot of that kind of crap. Can I point out a great fun fact I forgot to mention during this?
Yes, please.
Until 2007, I believe, this was the second highest grossing film on video.
No.
After Gone with the Wind.
Oh my god.
That's what I read. I was like, what? How the fuck is that possible? This could be a movie that was handed that's just like essential reading when you go into Cracker Barrel. It might be like the essential film that you get right next to Red Skelton's DVD collection. Like Cracker Barrel Essentials.
Oh my god.
There's nothing more American than Cracker Barrel and Chuck Norris Mission USA.
I mean, no, Invasion USA.
Oh, whatever.
Mission USA is a completely different film.
This actually has more Miami connection than the movie Miami Connection.
Oh my god, it does.
So let's move on now to what I didn't say in the opening, which I usually say is where we ask the question, is this a bad movie? And if not, what is? Well, what are we rating it?
Oh my god. I mean, I don't even want to do this. It's like, okay.
Why not?
Well,
what do you mean you don't want to do this?
I mean, this movie was.
You give up on rating?
I mean, you've given up on life, haven't you?
Yeah.
Get out of the street, you fucking bum. Okay, here's the thing. All right, okay. So I will say, I want to give this movie a 4 because there were some neat explosions and some, like, I don't know, cool stunt work. Okay, just that's all it had. But I can't give it a 4 because a 4 is so bad it's good. This is not. This is not so bad it's good. It's terrible. I'm giving it a 3.
Yeah. There was. I completely feel what you're saying. There's a part of me that almost wants to give it a 4 or 5, only because of what they were able to do with extras and explosions and just concept. They're doing really crazy stuff that you don't see very often, but it's terrible.
I mean, it's a bad movie.
I could never watch it again. And
no,
there is no reason. I mean, this to me is just the utter lack of using what they had, the complete failure on every front to make something amazing with what they were able, what they were given, just pisses me off to the extent where I want to go 3.
I mean, see, now it's like I'm definitely going 3, but now I really want to watch all the Chuck Norris movies I haven't seen.
Yeah, we definitely have to do a month of Chuck Norris films.
I mean, he's got to. Yeah, I mean, there's got to be other ones that I haven't seen, and I haven't seen so many. He has a pretty impressive resume.
He's got a lot.
He's like 200 something items on his resume.
When I was a kid, I saw a few. I don't remember them enough to talk about them. But the one movie I have seen the most is Sidekicks.
Okay, yes, I have seen that too.
Yeah, that is the one that stuck out. For some reason, it was always on HBO or whatever when I was a kid, or television. I don't know where. I would just see it all the time. And I did have a love of Joe Piscopo when I was a kid. And
Yeah, you do.
I have a lot of people probably do not even know who that is. And he's in Sidekicks as the villain, and I don't know, he just makes me laugh in that movie. And the movie's kind of got like heart, but it is bad.
Yeah, I mean,
Unfortunately,
here's the thing, like,
Brandis was not a great actor. Unfortunately.
no, oh, you know.
Yeah, I know, it's a shame.
Rest his
But,
soul.
yeah.
But I gotta say, like, I feel like there's gotta be at least, I'm gonna say 5 of his movies that are going to really jolt me, like entertain me, you know?
Okay.
There has to be where he actually shows some acting. Because in a lot of the movies I've seen of his, it's kind of just same boldface, like stone, but there's at least a little bit, you know?
Yeah, and we're not going to count that he showed up in one of the Expendables films.
He did. Yeah, he did. Yeah.
We're not counting that. We actually have seen
No,
it.
we're not gonna. But have you seen Top Dog?
Yeah, I've never seen it.
Yeah, I've seen it. I watched it with my mom.
Wow.
And I gotta tell you, I do remember that movie being cute, but then again, I was young, so I haven't seen it as an adult. But apparently there's a movie called Hero and the Terror. That just sounds interesting, and it's 1988. I want to see all his 80s movies because it's around the same time as this one. This one was 1985, which is my favorite year for movies.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that, I don't know, let's keep trying.
Well, let's finish what we were doing though, and we were doing the reviews. So
Oh yeah.
now we have the list of the movies that we've started. This would be the 11th movie we're adding to our list of what are the worst movies. We're always looking and asking the question, what is the worst movie? And we've only done this within the last 10 movies. We've skipped a couple like our favorite ones during November, but we have 10. Where would we put this on our lists? So, of course, our number one, the worst movie we watched so far since we've been doing this is Mortal Kombat Annihilation. The one after we both followed up with is the Mask of the Red Death remake, 1989. Now, are both of those worse?
Okay, like I told you, it will take a miracle for something to knock Mortal Kombat Annihilation out of the number one spot.
Oh, yeah. We've actually watched some movies off this podcast recently that I would definitely knock Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Okay, we'll
off.
talk about that later because I don't even know what you're talking about.
Oh.
But, except the one we watched on Bad Movie Night.
Oh, we've watched a couple movies even off that. And, yeah.
I don't know.
But right now, the only on the podcast we're doing the ones that we've seen on the podcast. So, yeah. Is it worse than those two? No.
Okay, then I'm going to say I really hated this movie. I did. This was a wet turd. I'm going to say this comes after. Yeah, we're going to put this at number 3.
So you're knocking off Bucket of Blood remake.
Yes, I am.
From 95. This is worse.
It's worse than that. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep, it is. This is just a sloppy mess. I don't...
All right, this is your number 3.
Yeah. What say you? Because...
I feel like... Oh, man, this is tough.
I mean...
I don't like this movie, but I don't know if it's worse than those other two movies, which is Bucket of Blood 95 and April Fool's Day remake 2008. Those are both not good as well.
At least we can make fun of Bucket of Blood in some way.
Yeah, no, I agree.
You know, like there was something that we kind of giggled at, you know? There's no way that Bucket of Blood is
I kind of giggle at
worse.
this too.
We
But
didn't giggle. We were making each other laugh at our own jokes. We were laughing at our own jokes because there was literally nothing in this movie that was entertaining, except for some of the freaking explosions, like I said.
all right, I'm going to agree with you then. Because I was definitely thinking, I definitely liked Bucket of Blood better. I'm surprised that I liked April Fool's Day better than Bucket of Blood.
I mean, our list, damn.
Yeah.
It's just...
All right, this is our number 3. Out of 11 movies, this is landed on number 3.
Oh, man.
Kind of wild.
It's only got to get better from here. It has to.
Oh,
It has to.
I want to watch a movie. We'll see. We'll
With
see
the
how it
ones
works
that
out.
we have planned for, the next
Yeah,
month.
we're talking about it the rest of this month.
Yeah.
I think the next two are going to be really, really bad. So
This movie had me. I can't even stay in order on this one because I feel like with every scene that it's like literally a roundhouse kick to the face. I feel like I'm being thrown back in time. I couldn't even keep what
shit.
scenes came next. It was just a hot mess, this movie.
yeah, you know, it's a shame I don't think we rarely do action films.
No, we really
And
don't.
I was excited about an action film, and I was excited about a Chuck Norris film. I was thinking this might make us really into it, like pepped up, talking about. And then at the end, when it ended, we were both like, "Let's get this done. Let's
No.
get this conversation out
Yeah,
of the
let's
way."
just scooch along.
Because it's like that's a shame.
I mean, we did the Fast and the Furious. That was the actionist of the action.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I
mean-
guess I'd count that. I forgot that was a whole thing we did for a month,
but
for a
that's
while.
it. That's it, though. Like we usually do like other things, like cult
Usually
classics
horror
or
lands on this.
mostly horror. Yeah, mostly. But we're doing this for a purpose. This is not a Christmas film. It takes place during Christmas.
It was a little bit of a mess up. There's a couple Christmas references and there's a couple Christmas things going on.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was going to be full Christmas stuff, and that was a disappointment.
Yeah, it wouldn't have mattered. This movie
It
was
could
a
have been-
steamy pile of shit.
Yeah. All right, let's get out of here. Thank you everybody for listening. As always, we're on social media at Joe's at the Crafty Misfit, and I am at Just Another Movie Night on Instagram. You can hit us up and tell us that you love this movie, you love Chuck Norris, or tell us what Chuck Norris movies we might want to do on this.
Please tell us.
Yeah, give us some ideas because we would love to hear it. Because this is an actor we definitely have not really delved into.
No, we really have not explored Chuck Norris's. I just want to, you know what? I really want to see how many movies he's wearing these jeans in.
All of them. On
Because
Texas
those-
Ranger, that's what he wore.
How are his balls intact? I don't understand. These jeans are up to his neck, number one, and they're tight as hell. And this guy's doing roundhouse kicks and this shit? I don't understand.
I wouldn't call them roundhouse kick.
Okay.
It's like a half backwards kick type thing. This is not
like a half
Van
circle.
Damme. Those are roundhouse
No,
kicks.
Van Damme's he's in
a whole nother class.
Yeah, we don't put anyone in that class. But this, still, I mean, I can't even lift my leg to tie my shoe in jeans. And he's doing, like, half circle kicks in these jeans. I have a problem with this. No, not the Wranglers. The Wranglers, no. What are they?
Well-
Lee
Before Joe goes on another
High
rant
rises.
about these pants.
boot cut.
Yeah, so please tell us Chuck Norris movies that you think that we need to talk about, or movies that you love that we definitely should check out. I'd love to hear about it. Please hit me up on social media. All right, everybody. Thank you again. Have a good one.
See you in hell.
Send me a postcard.